Right, hello and good afternoon, Narinder. Welcome to Accountants Are Sexy, Change My Mind. It's a pleasure to have you on today from AVNA Accountancy Services. Have I got that right?
You have, yes, it's Accountant Accountants. There's no services on the end, but yes, services is what we do.
Would you like to give us a quick intro then as to what it is you do?
Well, I run a general accountancy practice. I've been running this for the best part of a quarter of a century. So what I call the compliance work, I can do that with my eyes shut. Yeah, we have a small team, so there's a lot of changes happening, as everybody knows, with all this making tax digital. The last 2 years, the changes have happened. There's a lot more happening next year.
Okay.
But over the last 8 to 10 years, I've always thought that I should be doing a lot more advisory work. So during the pandemic, I bumped into an old friend, I hadn't seen for a while, who's more sales orientated.
Yeah.
And we just got chatting, what are you up to, the usual questions and answers. And I said, I've been thinking about this. He said, great, let's do it.
Wonderful.
So this is something that we've progressed all through the lockdown, and we've just started marketing this from not last month now, in July.
So you, we'll dig into it a bit more in a moment, but with regards to the advisory services, I know you and I have been speaking about that for months now. It seems to be a bit of a bug word on LinkedIn at the moment, where everyone is being told that they should do advisory services, but not everybody really knows what that means. So what does it mean?
I totally agree. When somebody says to me they're a consultant, I won't say the expletives I use, but what's a consultant? Doesn't mean anything. Yeah, if you say you're a cardiologist, I understand.
Yeah.
If you say you're a gynecologist, I understand. A consultant, it's one of those rubbish words that people top themselves up with. But be a lot more specific. So what we're looking at is, yes, a client should have all its numbers and they should all be up to date, but it's about advising them on their business and all aspects of their business. I'm not a specialist. I'm not a specialist in everything, of course. I'm a specialist in tax.
Yeah.
I'm a specialist in accounting systems. I'm a specialist in business planning. But we're building up a team where, if a client needs other specialisms, we'll bring them in. And it's about providing a holistic overview for the business.
Yeah, and this is something that accountants in general are being told to adapt to and to deliver, because there seems to be this story, this narrative being told at the moment, where accountants can't just be compliance accountants and they have to be more. But should they be more?
I think they should be, because people go and see their bank manager when you could see a bank manager to get business advice. And what does a bank manager know about business? He's never been in business. All he's done is look at somebody's bank statements of money coming in and going out.
Yeah. But that doesn't make everyone good. Like you've said already, you haven't got the skills and everything, but you have a team around you where you offer this full system. What about accountants who are one-man bands? What do they do?
Well, essentially, I'm a one-man band. I have a team of 3 young ladies in the office that I get to do most of the compliance work. But what we're looking at is, how can we scale this up? And the name of our business is Scale Up Success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it says what it does on the tin. And our strapline is creating millionaires. So our mission is to create 100 millionaires by 2030. Essentially about 10 a year.
Okay. Well, that seems achievable. It's less than one a month. Dead easy.
Less than one a month. Yeah. And we're not looking for millions of clients. It's not like compliance where you charge them small fees, but you need volume. Here we're looking at charging substantial fees and giving them quality.
Yeah.
I mean, all accountants, we all do the VAT returns. We all do the tax returns. We all do the limited company accounts. And when do we do limited company accounts? Well, for year end this March, they usually get done anytime between April and December.
Yeah.
And all that happens is that you get the accounts done because they need submission. Yeah, and it's too late to do anything. It's too late to use them as a tool.
Yeah, it's always looking back.
It's always historical. Yeah, and when you're looking at the systems these days, the revenue have done everybody a great service with this making tax digital.
Good.
So
I do agree.
yeah, well, it makes life a lot easier for the accountant. One, it's more fees because there's more work. But if it's forcing clients to keep their paperwork up to date, I say forcing them, a lot of them still not keeping their paperwork up to date.
Well, we're still going through the learning curve, aren't we? And I say we, I'm not including myself in this.
I was talking to a prospective client, and he does about 2 million turnover. And I said, look, maybe we should have a chat. He said, yeah, but I've got a lovely accountant already. I said, okay, I'm not saying I want to displace your accountant, but what does he do for you? He said, well, he does my VAT returns and he uses Xero. I said, okay, so the last bit of work you've done for you is your VAT return. He says, yes. I said, what did he do? He said, I said, I'll tell you what he did. He gave you how much your VAT was, and that's it.
Yeah.
And submitted the return.
Yeah.
He said, yes. I said, well, if you've done all your numbers to get your VAT return, surely you should then be looking at your overall numbers for the quarter just ended. Not look at these figures in 9-12 months' time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can make decisions based on those numbers right today instead of looking back. Absolutely.
Well, you made those numbers, but also you should be planning going forward. So if your year end is March, you should have a pretty good indication of what your year end figures are going to be by the end of January, December.
Yeah. So what do you think about the tech that's come into the industry? Because you said 25 years, am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I've gone from doing the paper bits onto spreadsheets, and now on some we use QuickBooks as our preferred bookkeeping system. But yeah, whether it's QuickBooks or Xero or any of the others, yeah, they're all similar. Much for much. It's all double entry.
And it's not just like that side of it as well. I mean, you've got all of the proposal software that plugs in. You've got the practice management that seems to be making life a lot easier. It seems to be a tech-heavy industry these days, where it wasn't before.
It should be, but it's not.
Okay, why isn't it?
So, well, I was talking to another young man, accountant in practice. He has a friend of mine, known him forever, always moaning that he's not got enough fees, always moaning. And I was talking about what I'm thinking about doing. And I even said to him, if you want to be part of it, let me know. Not going to cost you anything. And what does he say? He said, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. So he can do everything. Right.
Good on him.
Yeah, I said, when was the last time you did any of it?
Yeah.
Never.
There's definitely a big gap between what we can do and what we do.
Yes. Yeah. And this is exactly where we're attacking it. So yes, yeah, we want to have clients where all the bookkeeping is up to date, the management information, give them all their numbers, their trade debtors, trade creditors, their P&L, their balance sheet at the touch of a button. But on top of that, we want to be able to put the forecasts. Yeah. And the one thing that we found that we ask any prospect now is, what's your number? And by number, we mean what's your number as in where do you want to be in 10 years time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is your number 1 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 20 million? What is it?
It's quite amazing how many
have
people don't know this. I go through a process myself when I look at their marketing, and the thing that I start with first and foremost is, what do you want? And it's not an easy question, and you would imagine it is.
But the thing is that if you're talking to somebody about business and so on, and you're a business owner, if you don't know where you're going because you don't know your number, how the hell are you going to get there?
Exactly. And how do you know when you've got there?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got a target to aim for, the chances are you won't even progress towards it.
Yeah, I think in that respect, it makes everything a little bit less meaningful.
Yes.
So every task that you do, if it's not geared towards an end goal, why are you doing it? Why is it important? So it's the whole, what do you get up for every day? You know, what's your inspiration and motivation?
I mean, I don't want to, I was going to say, mention some other accountants that I've come across, but before the pandemic, I decided to expand.
Yeah.
So I took on these 2 other accountants who have their own small practices, so we merged. And I was just shocked at their mindset, their mentality. And then they've worked for a number of other practices in the area. And he said, yeah, but that's how we did it there. That's how we did it. And I'm thinking, God, yeah, what is wrong with you guys? Yeah. And yeah, you have your destiny. Yeah. So they didn't last very long. Yeah. So we soon parted company. And I thought, you know, there's so much here that I can do which all these other accountancy practices are not doing. Yeah. I mean, I was talking to a young man. He's partner in a 5-partner practice, which is part of a national firm.
Okay.
His mindset was so closed.
Really?
Yeah.
Because maybe employees stay because it's so big.
But he's a partner.
Yeah, but it's like,
and
maybe
to be honest, he is. But you know, you think it's. I won't say the name of the practice because you know that doesn't read right. But his increase in fees for the year's target was like minuscule.
Right.
Yeah, the actual practice between 5 partners turns out 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And just talking through some numbers, and I reckon that the partners on average probably making about 70 to 90 grand each.
Okay.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. His target in sales, because he was more the client-based partner, his target was like 3 or 4% increase on sales. 4 or 5% increase in sales.
Okay. That doesn't seem a lot. It doesn't seem very edgy.
Yeah, I said, but I'm a one-man band. I make more than 2 of you put together.
Yeah, but this is the reason why you're a one-man band, because then you're in control of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's your views then on goals? Because I mean, I think from speaking to you a few times now, I understand this, but should they be manageable and attainable, or should they be big and hairy and audacious?
Big and hairy. Huge and hairy. Because you know that's where you're going to start, isn't it? If you don't aim big, you're not going to get anywhere there. Yeah.
The way that I describe it is let your goals be big, hairy, and audacious, but let your objectives be manageable and attainable.
Well, no, I would say let your goals be, you know, the BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals. Yeah, is the term that a lot of people use. But then alongside that should be your vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your vision is there in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. And if that vision is there, then what we do with our advisory staff is engineer it backwards.
Yeah.
This is where you are today. This is where you want to be in 10 years' time. Okay, let's have a look at your number and then work up as to what you need to do from today. So in 10 years, you get there.
Yeah.
Once we've done that, we can then start thinking, well, actually, this is too ridiculous. It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to chuck so much at it. Have you got that to chuck at it to make it happen?
Yeah.
And you know, if you've got unlimited funding, or you're ambitious enough, or you want to work hard enough, yeah, I've seen companies that start off from nothing,
mm-hmm.
And float in 5 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's totally
amazing.
doable.
I've seen some e-commerce companies like just shoot up over the past, like through the pandemic, and they have done phenomenally well.
Well, funny you should say that. The presentation which I mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago, which we did last week, and that was in conjunction with Ernst & Young. So there's three of us speaking. Ernst & Young representative on research and development. I spoke about cash, and my colleague spoke about investing in the business. So I just did this 15 minutes on where you can find cash in your business. And this young lady in the audience, she put her hand down. She said, I've got a client who needs money. And she said, so let me just explain the situation. She said, I got them £250,000 worth of borrowing. Then I got them another £250,000 worth of borrowing. And I got another £250,000 worth of borrowing. And now I can't get them anymore because the equity they have is not enough. They've grown from 1.5 million turnover to 15 million.
Okay.
And they get paid on the dot. Yeah, what's their issue?
Yeah, so why did they need money in the business?
Well, I won't go into too much detail. I say it's probably this or that or that, and get me in front of them.
Reasonable.
Yeah, so we've got a meeting with a young lady next on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, it is amazing what you can do when you put your mind to it. Now, there are people who come along and for reasons they struggle. But I've seen people grow property portfolios in a year. I've seen people grow education companies. I've seen people grow e-commerce businesses from scratch. You know, like literally having to move out of their home into rented accommodation temporarily to fund the business, and now they're flying. And I think it's quite amazing. But you can't do that on your own. And this is what I've come to realize through my journey as a business owner. You need your business mentors, and I wouldn't necessarily go as far to say as coaches, but coaches are useful. But you need people.
One thing that everybody needs is accountability.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you've got your plan in place, you've got your measurement tools. Yes, things like OKRs, your goals, whatever you want to call them. That's what you measure it by.
Yeah.
And then we kid ourselves. Whereas if it's somebody else, if I'm coming along to you and say, Kelly, you said you're going to do this. Let me have a look at what you've done. You're going to do it.
I'm going to try.
Yeah. And if I turn up and you haven't done it, it's going to be rather embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to have your accountability partners with you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't realize how much accountability helps until past couple of years, really. And before, I tried to do everything on my own because I thought I could. But although I definitely knew when I first started 7 years ago, I definitely knew more than I thought I knew at the time. But what I really didn't understand is the support network you need in order to make things happen. Now that's really changed for me. Looking back at your journey.
Well, let me just add to what you just said. Yeah. So what's been in the news for the last 3 days?
The tennis player?
Emma. 18 years of age. She's gone to the States, just finished her A-levels. And what has she got with her? Yeah, her team, her coach.
Yeah.
And she said, without the coach, it wouldn't have happened.
Did she say that? Bless her.
But it's true, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Roger Federer, probably one of the best tennis players ever. How many coaches does he have?
Well, I think actually multiple is the answer, isn't it? Because it's for different things. You've got your physical, your mindset, your nutrition. You've got a coach for everything.
Yeah. So, my brother-in-law, he's in HR, and he's done the rounds, has ended up as a headhunter with a company called Korn Ferry, one of the biggest headhunters in the world. And he's younger than me, and I hold him to to account. He thinks he knows everything because he coaches CEOs.
Okay.
And his charge rate is like £7,000 a day.
Mm.
I speak to him, and now over the last year, 18 months, I've realised that I should be charging more than him. Not that anybody would pay me that, but because they're paying for a brand. But certainly, you should be able to get a decent day rate on what we're doing. Which is a lot more lucrative than doing tax returns.
Yeah, understanding your value is another part of every entrepreneur's journey. Once again, my own included. I think, and this is slightly different. I was going to talk about your marketing and who your ideal kind of clients are. And they're definitely in a different place in their business journey right now. But if we look at where I came from, when I first started my business, I didn't have these big hairy goals. I just wanted to earn a living. Therefore, I was charging an hourly rate that I would do if I was being employed. That's the mindset.
That was my mindset, and it was for 15 to 18 years. And then suddenly, when I took these two other guys on, I suddenly realized that, you know what? I know these other practices that they work for, etc., etc. So if this is the quality of what these guys are, and this is where they worked, and so on and so forth, I know I'm much better than these other guys. Hence where all this has come from.
Excellent. So with all of this knowledge, with your 25 years of accounting experience, your advisory service, and with the Scale Up Success Program, who is it you're looking to work with currently?
Well, I mean, the compliance work is bread and butter. So we're not turning that away. But our ideal client is 2 million turnover to 25 million turnover, and staff maybe 20-25 staff up to about 250 staff. Okay. So and in terms of fees, if I'm working with a 2.5 million turnover business, I will actually say, if I don't make you at least as much money as I'm charging you, I'll give you money back.
You can't say fairer than that. I do like guarantees like that.
And if I'm working with a 2.5 million turnover business, let's say I'm charging them 25 grand. How much is 25,000 as a percentage of 2.5 million?
You are the accountant. Please don't ask me numbers.
1%. 1%. 1%. Are you telling me I can't find 1% growth in that company's profits?
Yeah.
If I can't, I need shooting.
Yeah. It's interesting. So when did you start approaching this niche and wanting to work with these businesses?
Well, as I said, all through the lockdown, so literally for almost a year and a half, every Sunday, my colleague and I, we sit down and we work on it. And we were originally going to start marketing in May, but then the full lockdown didn't happen. So we'd taken a stand at a exhibition, which was then cancelled. So our stand's now been put forward to next year. So we didn't actually start really until July. So during that time, we've been building up lots and lots of connections.
Only since July? I feel like I've known you a lot longer than that.
We first met in April.
Yeah.
Yeah, and April you could
That
just
makes
start
more
meeting.
sense.
Yeah, but you couldn't actually market anything. You couldn't get out there, and most people were too scared to go and talk to anyone. We are now building up our own network. So last week I had a meeting with somebody who's setting up his own network. Unfortunately, this guy's only got about 2 to 3 years possibly of life left, because he's ill. But he wants to achieve something in those 2 or 3 years. And he's built up a network of about 90 professionals that he's working with. So what we're doing is he's seeing that as real value to what he wants to do. So he wants us to take the lead on it. And each of these 90 professionals has got their own connections.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
This is the thing about networking. It's yes, it is about the person you network with directly, but if you look at it with the expansive connections they have,
yeah.
people seem to go into a room and just see the room. And this is you think that it's been said enough because you see it all the time. You think that people would know. It's never the room, it's who the room knows. But
Absolutely.
it's so short-sighted sometimes.
Yeah,
it's painful.
yeah. One of the reasons we're paired up with Ernst & Young is just purely for the branding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
going through a partnership thing with myself.
yeah, I mean one of the things we were looking at. So there's an exhibition at the Excel in November called the Business Show.
Mhm.
So I just came across it, and I said to my colleague, "Look, go on there, book yourself a couple of tickets, and yeah, we'll go and spend the day there."
Mhm.
There's expected to be 25,000 businesses visiting, and the way my mindset has now changed. When I was booking my ticket, it asked, "Would you be prepared to, or would you like to take a stand?" So I didn't say yes, I didn't say no, I said maybe.
Okay.
I knew somebody would call me.
Yes, they will.
They did.
If they don't, you'd be disappointed, wouldn't you?
Exactly, yeah. So they called me and said, "Would you like to take a stand?" I said, "Well, yes, send me some details, etc., etc." And they did. And then I spoke to my colleague. He said, "No, it's too early. We've only just started. It's going to cost us a few £1,000, and no, we don't want to take the risk yet." I said, "Well, I don't know. Let's just think about it." Got a follow-up call from the exhibitors. He said, "I've got this really good stand. It's good location, good site, etc., etc." Said, "Send me the details." So he sent me the details. I said, "We'll have it."
Okay.
So we booked it. Then after booking it, I told my colleague, I said, "I've booked a stand." He said, "Oh, yeah, what else?" I said, "Look, yeah, just shut up for the moment. Yeah, if we lose money on it, I'll pay it. Yeah, it won't be a joint thing. I'll pay the whole lot."
Here you go with the guarantees again.
Yeah, and I said, "Let's talk about it on Sunday at our meeting." So we met up on Sunday. He said, "Yeah, but I thought we'd agreed not to book it," and so on. I said, "Listen, yeah." I said, "You're the salesman. Did you not?" He said, "Yes." I said, "How many clients will we need on the sort of fees that we're charging to break even?" He said, I said, "One."
Just the one.
I said, "You're telling me that 25,000 visitors and you can't make one sale?"
And there's always, like networking, it's not necessarily what you're going to walk away with on the day. It's about the nurturing and the follow-up and the using those connections more. So as long as you can capture their information, which is why the sweet bowl's always out, have a sweet, give me your email address or something to that effect.
But now we've got something even more powerful.
Good, I should hope so.
So I said to him, I said, "Look, yeah, you and I are going to be there for the 2 days. We'll probably get some somebody, I'm sure they don't want to look at a couple of old codgy old guys. Yeah, let's get some help, some
an injustice, I tell you.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, but aside from that, I said, we want to make ourselves look bigger.
Yeah.
So we've created 8 slots, 4 on each day, for what we are calling our added value advisors. So who are we working with? So we've got a bank that they want to attend as one of our, so it's going to be a 2-hour slot. Okay, so bank is going to be there. We've got national chain of insolvency practitioners.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a really good insurance broker.
We've
got a really good marketing young lady. But yeah, so we're creating these slots that, one, it gives them exposure. It's not going to cost them anything, but it just gives us kudos.
And it's the value add. That's what you said at the beginning. It's the value add. You're doing something more than they would expect. And would they book in with those?
Well, we'll just say, okay, you want to talk to a banking specialist? Come back at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk to an IFA? Come back at this time. So if the IFA wants to be there all day, that's fine.
Absolutely. So you've spoken about quite traditional marketing methods. There's a lot of sales in here, there's a lot of networking, there's a lot of, like you've discussed, events and conferences and partnerships. Where do you stand on the digital side of marketing?
I think I'm too old for that. No, I mean, I know it's powerful. My daughter is, she worked for 3 different companies after graduating, all in PR, social media, etc. Last year, she got made redundant after being on furlough for many months. And she was saying to me, shall I get another job? What should I do? I said, do what you like, because she's getting married and she's going to go off to the States once the Americans get their act together and give her a visa. She started doing a newsletter, just on branding.
Yeah.
That was less than a year ago. Now she's fully booked on a day rate, a good day rate, just earning money from social media and branding.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's like, and it really is something that it's not rocket science. It's about human connection. This is what my perspective on marketing is. It's about human connection. So as long as you understand how to use the technology in order to convey that emotion, then you're onto a winner. Yeah. But it's not something you necessarily get involved in yourself then.
Yeah, no, it's I don't even think about it, because I've got my hands full, and the way I think, people buy people. Yeah. And it's more about meeting people. Yeah. And yeah, if we're charging decent money, then I don't need to have 50 or 100 clients. No. Yeah, don't forget, this is icing on the cake. So if in the first year I pick up 10 or 15 clients, that's all pocket money.
Absolutely. So what advice would you give then? Because you come from a different perspective when it comes to marketing. What advice do you give other accountants as to how to best grow their practice?
Work with me. No, it's more about just it's a cliche, work outside the box, but most people don't. They just do the same old. Yeah, and get to work with people who are thinking differently. Don't go and sit with the same old people, because you'll get the same old results. Yeah,
I think this is the other thing I see quite often in the industry, and I would imagine it's the same for many industries, but when I speak to accountants, they're like, but we've used an agency and we've had our fingers burned, and that's the story that comes back all the time. And I think it comes down to them not taking control of their marketing. They have no control of their strategy. They
think it's just going to land in their lap.
Yeah, they just want to close their eyes and push a magic button and for all to be there.
So when we're setting all these meetings up, so week before, we had 16 Zoom meetings in 2 days.
How many? 16?
16, yeah. And that was all with... Yeah, well, that was all with our potential added value partners, people we want to work with. And we structured the meeting. We had a tick list. So you asked this question, I was like, yeah. And then we've marked them. Yeah. Then from there, we've got lots and lots of one-to-one, in-person meetings that we want to schedule up. The first one was literally a bit of a screening, but the second one, we've got an idea as to who we're going to work with. But now it's going to be in person, one-to-one, and say, yeah, is there some connection? Is there some rapport? Are we thinking along the same wavelength?
And this is not something you can get from Zoom? You think it needs to be in person?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one-to-one on Zoom is fine, but you don't build up a connection unless you see somebody in person. Yeah,
I'm kind of with you. I was in BNI, as you were as well. I think you are.
Still am.
Still are. Yeah. So
I'm not so sure how long I'll stay, but
it's always a question. You should always be evaluating it as well. But I was in BNI. I've taken a sabbatical for a little while. what was the point I was going to get to? The meeting up, when they wanted to go back face to face, I realized that I had so much I needed to do and achieve and everything. I didn't see going back face to face as worth it. But I would always go out for one-to-ones. And I think this is the difference. I'd rather have the meeting online, so it takes up less time. I feel like it's the compliance side of BNI.
Yeah.
And then I would go out and I'd have one-to-ones and I'd make connections, and you'd have a small talk and you'd get to understand people on a deeper level. And I think that's so important. But just going around a table and talking about business, I just didn't see it as valuable.
No. And the other thing I found with BNI is that the Zoom meetings, in our chapter, there was 51 people. You can't network with them. It's just the way it's structured. You go into a breakout room and there's two people already talking, they're having a conversation, you feel like you're interrupting. Whereas if in your room, if you're standing, and your body language is right, you just walk straight in and start talking to them, and it's great.
Yeah. That is, once again, I think people skills are something that we're all going to have to relearn, by the way.
And I used to do, I spent a lot of money, along with a lot of time, on personal development.
You did, yeah. I remember you saying.
So, and all of that I'm now putting into practice. I've been meaning to do it for years, but one thing after another, it didn't happen. But then, with the lockdown, it gave me a chance to rethink it. That's exactly what we're doing.
And it's quite exciting. So give me an overview of what the Scale Up Success Program is going to look, feel like. What is it going to deliver?
It's pretty simple. So we are more than happy, or would love to meet a prospective client. Before we meet them, we would send them out a questionnaire. If there's 2, 3, 4 directors, great. It's a confidential questionnaire that would come back to us, and we wouldn't share it with the other directors. But that gives us a flavor as to where they're going. You could have one pointing to the left, one pointing to the right, one going upwards, one going downwards. Then you wonder why their business is not going where it should be.
I've done this with a law firm. Entirely different answers. Very interesting.
Indeed. So, and then we would then sit down with them and have a meeting for a couple of hours. And out of that, we would then give them what we call an ideas report. And that's totally free of charge. Once they've looked at or gone through the ideas report, we would then recommend that they have essentially a deep dive workshop, half a day, which we will do, but at a discounted price. And from there, will effectively come out the proposal. It'll have their vision in there, it'll have the number in there that they want to achieve, and so on and so forth. And then we've got our whole model is all modular. So what does a business need? So it needs somebody to have a look at the taxes. So that's a module. It needs somebody to look at their management information systems, accounting systems. That's a module. It's one on their bookkeeping, that's a module. One on their sales, it's a module. One on their gross margin, it's a module. So one on HR, one on, so you name it, we've got modules to cover it. So once we've done the deep dive workshop, we know exactly which modules then you start on first.
Okay, so then they're prioritized.
Prioritized, that then fits into their roadmap of the next 5-10 years, and then that fits into a cash flow forecast, trading forecast, so that we've got a lot of action points that we can look at to deliver where they want to be.
Excellent. So,
and at the same time, we would then come along every week, every month, as would be required, help implement whatever we need to implement, and kick some butt, hold them accountable.
Like that.
Because that's what makes them achieve.
So there is one point I want to really make is when we started speaking at the beginning, we were talking about advisory services in accountants' practices. I don't think they need to be doing that themselves if they don't have the skill. I know there's somebody that I'm working with at the moment, and he's like, well, I would like to offer these advisory services, but I don't have the business knowledge, acumen, or skills to be able to provide them. So what do you say to them?
Well, let me say it's pretty straightforward, really. So we run payroll. Yeah, so we have a bit of HR expertise, but I'm no HR expert.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring somebody in. Yeah. We look at websites and stuff. I'm not a website expert. We'll bring somebody in.
You don't even like digital marketing.
No. But as I say, our first client that we picked up is an accountancy practice.
Right.
And straight away, we had a couple of meetings just because I wasn't even looking at him as a client.
Mm.
It's just going to be a case study.
Yeah.
Let's see how we can help him. And within two meetings, he said, I'm spending 500 quid a month on somebody who's doing some marketing for me. I said, great. What's the results?
Mm.
0.
Mm.
He said, I might be better off spending it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he switched over.
Yeah.
We were talking to another young lady who's running a credit agency. Exactly the same.
Mm.
It wouldn't surprise me if she comes over. And yeah, she's one of our added value partners because we want her to do the credit stuff for clients, etc.
Yeah.
But she may well, from the language, become one of our clients as well.
Mm. I think people spend money on marketing and it doesn't work. And I think the reason is it's a tick box.
Yeah.
And that both upsets and offends me.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not working towards their own strategy. They're just ticking a box. Now, there are other people and people that write blogs and they write blogs and they write blogs and they have no reason, no understanding of what on earth they're doing. They're just writing. And it's not going to get seen by anyone. And that is a shame because that's
see,
where...
why do I not do blogs? One, I don't know how to. Second is that if I'm doing a blog, I want to put the content in.
Mm.
Yeah, so somebody may help me structure it and all the rest of it. But if I want to put a message across, somebody else is not going to put that across as well as I can. Because it's my practice, it's my business, it's me.
Yeah, I think there are definitely ways of working with people to do that, but that's a point for another day. We're running out of time, Narinder. I could speak to you forever, you know this. We'll have to leave it to the end of September now, but do me a favor, answer me this one question.
Okay.
What is the sexiest thing about accounting?
I really enjoy talking to my clients, especially this new stuff about growing the business. Yeah, I mean, so many accountants just sit there and look at the numbers and they talk tech. They talk debits and credits, balance sheets, P&Ls, and clients don't understand that.
Mm.
I get clients in here that don't want to go because we're talking business. Yeah, talk pounds, shillings, and pence.
Yeah.
What's in their pocket?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you start talking about technical terms of accounting, and I work with accountants all the time, but I can't stand it. I don't want to learn accounting. This is the other thing. Don't teach me accounting. Teach me how to run a business. I need business support.
Yes.
So it's been a pleasure, Narinder. I hope you've had fun today.
I did. Yes. Thanks for your time. Yeah. I hope the recording comes out well.
I'm sure it will. Do me a favor though. Could you just let people know where to get hold of you?
Oh, right. Okay. So two areas. One is obviously the accountancy practice. I'm an accountant, and my phone number is 078505161. The website, which is under construction at the moment, is avna.co.uk. But the more interesting side is the scale-up success business, which is about creating millionaires. Same number you can get me on, and the website is scaleupsuccess.co.uk.
I believe there is also a hyphen in there as well. Scaleup-success.co.uk.
Indeed, you're right. I don't even know my own website address.
I've got you back.
Yeah.